retard, retard, retard.
Right, welcome back. What do you mean it's overcrowded? Seriously? Oh no. Oh no, okay then let me just log in. So it's eToro 2542. Alright, let's see how bad it is. Oh god. Oh, I hate it. Oh my god, what is this? Blimey. You've got to be kidding me. Hang on, that's what position is that? That's E30. Okay. So quickly. E30. Oh my god. Yeah, I hope we're not gonna have too much delay because of that. I know there's an event. That's what I chose Toulouse, because it doesn't happen very often. Hey Andreas, how you doing? Kipman, hey, good afternoon. Are you already there, Kipman? Nice. Pitbull, hello to you. MAN is a bit frustrated because it's so full. John, hey, how you doing? Big shout out to John Fesser. If you don't know him yet, I'm sure you all do. Also streaming on Twitch. Right, we had some questions. Have you ever felt unsafe by the decision made by the captain when I was a first officer, Niklas? Very good question. Yes, it can happen, and but you've got to voice your concerns. So, right, come on. There we go. Beautiful. Oh my god, this is what is happening today. Jeez. Blimey. It's a mess. Oh, we gotta get going. Yeah, we gotta get going quickly. So, do we have... Right, let me just restart the sim here. Hold on. Not the sim, but FENIX. Give me a second. Ah, maybe it just reset itself. Yeah, okay, all good. Right, let's get rid of that side, EFB, save some FPS, and very quick preparations so that we get going. Get all the key bindings here. Atsu. AOC menu. Okay, so have I ever felt in doubt regarding my captain's decisions? Yeah, what do you do about it? You voice your concerns. Make sure the captain understands that you're not happy with that. However, in the end, you're going to have to accept the decision made by the captain. There can only be one captain. If it's like, you know, on approach or something, and there's something where you say that's completely unsafe, you would say go around. If there's no response, then you still have the option to take over control of the aircraft. But again, that's very theoretical, and but it has happened that a first officer took away the aircraft from a captain, and even saved the day that way. So, you know, all depends on the situation, right? Good. Let's do a quick wind request here. So the mods I'm using on X-Plane, I just already posted that. Here on Microsoft, I don't use any mods. I don't. It's just hardware-wise, I use the FS Project's flight stick. So I can show you that here on this side. There we go. So that's the stick that I'm using. Apart from that,
welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Twitch channel subscriber experience.
Hey Alpha.
Could new subscribers please make
No, I'm dual streaming Alpha.
Cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment.
People can decide which platform they want to watch my streams on. So I did notice viewer numbers on YouTube are pretty bad because people just do not apparently like watching live streams on YouTube, which is a shame. So servers down, no flight plans available. Oh, okay. If that's the case, then we might go offline. Kiva, okay. Yeah. Because I need to get going. I've got at 8 o'clock. I've got another event coming up. So
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box YouTube channel subscriber experience. Could new subscribers please make their way to the first class cabin where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment will be served.
Browns, thank you so much. Thank you for your support, Browns. 6 months here on YouTube. Thank you so much for that. I hope you're doing good. Thank you. Welcome. You've logged off. Okay, man. Let me just see if I can get a clearance. See how that goes. I mean, if it's too chaotic, I need to then log off and we'll fly. VATSIM is a mess at the moment. Okay, that's a shame.
A copy. That was a good day.
Status final.
Yeah, Biline 59 Delta, we just lost our ground. Please stand by, call you back.
I hope he didn't die.
Oh God. Excuse me? What's going on?
This is like uncontrollable.
Should I just change to IVO?
Oh, come on. Don't be an idiot.
And full match.
Jesus. Calm down, everyone.
No. Please stop that.
Oh my. Oh God. Oh my God. I don't know if I want to do this.
This is Ryanair 46 Foxtrot, and it can we can go over to ground as long as aware they should be online.
Shut up.
No, please.
Ryanair, you shut up.
Please.
Oh my
Guys,
God.
serious, please.
What is going on?
Okay, we have to concentrate because things are not good today, and then we will be laughing, but not now. So, Ryanair 46 Foxtrot, okay, the ground is having troubles now. Just check it on frequency 121.9er, but if nothing is good, come back on that frequency 121.7.
No problem, 121.9, and I'll see how it is. Thanks so much for the ATC, Ryanair 46 Foxtrot.
167 Romeo Lima, est-ce que je peux contacter le sol?
Right.
Comme j'étais promis.
So we got the load sheet already.
Alors, pour le moment, il y a un peu de monde sur la fréquence du sol. Essayez de passer avec lui, c'est pareil, 121 décimales 9. Si jamais ça fonctionne pas, revenez avec moi.
So we got departure Victor, departure 5 Bravo, and transition over 60. Vacate Mike
On est
8.
vraiment désolé pour tout ça. Malheureusement, en fait, on a
Wind
perdu
variable
notre
4
système,
knots.
les plans de vol, on a dû les refaire, les strips, c'est pareil.
Cab OK.
On va essayer de se rendre.
1017.
Non, moi c'est aucun problème, c'est juste pour lui les pertes de fil d'attente.
Down it down a bit, 1017, and we've got
Je vous ai pas oublié, vous inquiétez
3 to right for takeoff.
Airline 52 Yankee, okay, this clearance is on request. I will call you back as soon as I can. Got that.
Okay, I'll call in for clearance as well, and then I'll see what how long it takes. If it takes too long, then I'll log off. Toulouse, very good afternoon. Itaro 2542 information Victor, request clearance, please.
Itaro 2542, bonjour. Clearance is on request. I will call you back as soon as I can call you back.
Roger, standing by Itaro 2542. All right. Can you put the Twitch chat into the stream? No. QB, I don't think that's a good idea.
Okay, Air Portugal 201, second please.
Air Portugal 20.
Air Portugal 201, you're clear to destination, Palma de Mallorca, runway 3 to right.
There was another question from Diego. He wrote, Captain, how difficult are progressive mathematics and progressive physics tests apply? I've not, to be honest, I don't. Those kind of questions, my tests are so far back. You would have to ask someone who's just, you know, done the tests.
201, correct. I put you on the waiting list for push and start. Number 16, call you back.
16.
Confirm number 16.
Normally 16, but nothing sure because I quite approximately lost everything.
Is number 16 long in this country?
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Twitch channel subscriber experience. Could new subscribers please make your way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
Bonjour. Number 3 for clearance, call you back.
Copy, merci, tout à l'heure.
Itaro 2542 on second please.
Yeah, Itaro 2542, go ahead.
Itaro 2542, you're clear to destination. Departure runway 3 to right, Afrique 5 Bravo. Initially flight level 70, squawk 5707.
Itaro 2542 is cleared to Naples, Afrique 5 Bravo, departure, climb 70, squawk 5707.
Itaro 2542, correct, report ready for push and start.
Wilco, Itaro 2542. Good, wow, that's a quick clearance. So let's just put that in here.
You're clear to destination Roma, departure runway 3 to right, Amuro 5 Bravo, initially flight level 70.
So we're going to expect the ILS Zulu 24. And we're going to do this via the Tiana 1 mic and approach via ESCOP. I'll tell you all about later on. So in it A, B page. So load sheet 60.4. No, it's not. So the scenery that we're showing today in Naples is not out yet. It'll be out on the 20th.
Yeah, so every water. We had a problem with your flight plan, but it seems to be good. So you're clear to Napoli. I got to Napoli. Departure Amuro 5 Bravo, runway 3 to right, initially available 70, squawk 1000.
So the block fuel is 7.3. Yeah, 7.4 actually. So 7.4.
752 Yankee, correct. You're the waiting list. Number 16, call you back.
1.7. 1.7 for Rome as the alternate airport. Put that in there.
Water, put you in the waiting list, call you back.
Right, I'll tell you what we'll do.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Twitch channel subscriber experience. Could new subscribers please make your way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment
I might as well call in.
Thank you.
So that, so 70, so that we get going. Thank you so much to Browns, also here subscribing on Twitch. Thank you so much, Browns, for that. You are very, very kind. Dual sub.
Delta, call you back, please. Be patient. I will do my best to go back on a normal situation.
And the Itaro 2542 is fully ready for start and push.
Itaro 2542, please check your squawk 1000 and your number 16, call you back.
Okay, squawk 1000 coming, Itaro 2542. Oh my god. Okay, so you did say 5707 initially. Alan, yes.
Delta 024, bonjour.
And Brenold, thank you so much, Brenold, for also tool sub now. Thank you so much. 5 years now. Oh my god. That is a long time. Yes, I'm dual streaming. So Diego, I'm sorry that I can't answer any specific questions regarding ATPL programs and what's required in terms of physics tests, math tests. But I wouldn't really get worked up too much about this because that's a FENIX bug right now.
Okay, please. Delta 024, that's correct.
But don't worry too much about that. One more explain question to you. Where can I get X-Vision keys since they stopped selling it? Have they really?
Easy 31 Alpha
They've stopped selling X-Vision. I didn't know that.
Have a great day.
Right, guys, as much as I would love to stick with VATSIM, but that's crazy. 16 for departure. And again, I need to be back
Welcome aboard
on the ground in L50.
Experience. Could new subscribers please make your way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
Request to call you back.
Anyone that phone requested, please wait.
Alpine 49 November Foxtrot looking for IFR clearance to Palma de Mallorca.
Right. So, my bad, guys. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to do that. Yeah, shout out to the controllers, but we need to get going. So I'm sorry that. Well, not now, Brennel, because I'm pretty sure I will need to restart everything to get onto multiplayer, because I've switched that off. In the B page, how do you enter Tripwind? Okay, at Force 5, the problem is, so the moment that you do wind uplink, it does work. But if you still have, like, I think initially it goes HD 00 something. So in order to get headwind component, so if you have headwind, you put HD, and then let's say 15 knots, you put that in there, right? Now it's invalid because I've already done a wind uplink. Or you do tailwind, Tango Lima for tailwind, and then let's say you have 20 knots tailwind on average, you would put it that way in there. Can also try plus and minus. Okay, so plus and minus seems to work as well. I would need to try that on our aircraft in real life, because I'm not sure if that's actually working on our aircraft, but probably is, and I just haven't realized. So let's do import here quickly. So we were cleared via the Afric 5 Bravo departure, up 70. Well, at least we got the clearance, right? So that's all fine. Hey Voyager, moin. And here we are. And the taxi out will go via Tango 40 Papa. And then we do either November 2 or November 1. If we can do a intersection takeoff calculation via November 2, we'll do that. Syncing the weather load sheet, runway 32 right. And we've got, no, we only have full length, unfortunately, 32 right. So we're going to take full length. And that way, 39 degrees, blimey, that is hot. So flaps 1, flex 64. That is very hot. Blimey. What's the temperature in Lisbon, Bruno? 484850. In Germany, it's not too bad. Yeah, it is super hot down there, isn't it? Blimey. Yeah, yeah. So, but what about the fires, wildfires? So I've seen some news that there are lots of wildfires in Spain and Portugal. Down 0.2. So full length, and for our departure, we'll get some infos. So here we are. We got NDP 2, 1500, 1500. And the engine out is 2000. So 2000 in here and 1500. 1500. Oops. No. Come on. Give me 2 zeros. There we go. 1500, 1500. RatNav. Do we need anything for RatNav? Just checking. Let's do Toulouse. Tango Oscar uniform. 17.7. And that's all we need. So, init A page filled out. Difference, right? Data. We have a good database until August. That's good. So, init A page filled out. Flight plan page is filled out. RatNav filled out. We've got performance filled out. Secondary, we'll do copy active. A quick return. Thank you much, Bruno. Much appreciated. Let's 3 to left, no star, and no via. Good. Cockpit preparation checklist. Gear pins, covers removed. Fuel quantity 7,360 kilograms. Seatbelts on. ADIRS. nav. And Barrow ref 1017. QNH 1017 set. And that's the cockpit preparation checklist completed. We'll do one more thing. Then we'll go with sim settings. Those lights out. Controls link. That's fine. That's fine. I think that's all done. Yeah, that's all fine. That's all correct. Fantastic. Cool. What do you think about? I've never tried it, Jim. I never tried the A330. Sorry, so can't really say anything on that. An overlay on screen. Well, the problem is if I put a chat overlay here, it really clutters up the. I don't know. I have a feeling that more people will complain having, you know, chat appear all the time here on the screen. And to be fair, guys, I have 50 viewers on YouTube, and I have 129 at the moment on Twitch. So there's a lot more people on Twitch than on YouTube. I can read both chats out, but Twitch is always a bit busier. Yeah, it's only good if you watch on the TV. There we go, Alpha. Yeah. So. And Ralph, sorry, missed another resub. Ralph, EDDK, thank you so much, Ralph. Here's a round of applause for your resub. And he says something's not on sale because of the fact that Russian... Oh, no, that's from 777 Bob, sorry. That message. Ralph, thank you so much for 45 months here on Twitch as well. Hope you're doing good. B4 start checklist. Parking brake is set. Takeoff speed thrusts. V1 148, VR 148, V2 150. Windows closed. Closed. Beacon is on. And that's the before start checklist completed. Let's go ahead and request pushback. So we go ground services. Have we removed everything? Yeah, that's all removed. Fantastic. So that goes all off. Tow connect. Okay, Brenold. Yeah, maybe have you put that to them, Brenold? As a request. Yeah, I use streamer mode, Collimato, yeah. But it only hides a couple of data blocks, doesn't it? Right, so tow bar connected, release parking brake, brakes released, ready for push. Pushing back, and we're going to face to the south. Ridex? No, quite the contrary. I was on... oh, actually, let me change the overlay, because we tried... we tried to go on VATSIM. We were there. We got the clearance, but we were number 16 for pushback. And then they had issues with the ground controlling, so... I decided, because I need to get going, we have another event today at DCS. It's offline, but still an event. And I don't want to keep the people waiting there. Mr. Pro, hey, how you doing? Love the name. So there we go, pushing back. Engine start. Starting engine 2. So we can stop here. Set parking brake set. Yeah, I think so too. Streamer mode only hides a sim brief and Hoppy username, yeah. How can you contact Brenold? It's on the website. They have a system to post tickets, requests, and so on. Or go on their Discord channel, Brenold. Yeah, they have a Discord channel. You can do that there as well. Engine 1 start. Good, departure is in, up to 70. There's no threats. All procedures normal. Yeah, Brunel, I see the same. So whenever I see streams where they have a chat on in the streaming window, it is, I don't know, it is annoying in my opinion. Right, flaps 1. We'll set the trim to down 2, and then the flight control check. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, and the rudder, full left. Full right, neutral after start checklist, anti-ice off, ecom status checked, pitch trim, let's check that. So we go fuel prediction 29.4 set, or 29.4%, and the rudder trim neutral. That's the after start checklist completed. Taxi out, clear left side, clear right side. Parking brake off. Radix, you're flying from Palma to Toulouse. Brake check. Working. I've been many times to Toulouse as well in real life. It's a fascinating airport, obviously, especially on the western side, with all those aircraft being built and then ready for delivery. At the moment, you will see lots of A350s there, some A330 Neos. So it's this side there. You see the Belugas, obviously. And then on the northern side, they used to have the A380s there. And that was also fascinating. Kidman, you're still... Oh, man, I admire your patience, Kidman. Because when I got my clearance, Kidman, he said, you're number 16 for departure. So he would call me back, and I said, well, forget it. So you're doing Gatwick, Toulouse, and then, oh my god, and then Palma. Okay. Brennelt, I have a question. Have you done my first passenger flight on a completely new aircraft? Well, I've done one, Brennelt, which had only 2 prior flights. So that's a 321 Neo, and it only flew to Larnaca and back again. And so I did the third revenue flight on an aircraft, so completely brand new as well, but not the very first one, no. Taxi checklist, flight controls check, flap setting, config 1 plus F. Radar predictor wind shear is in up. Engine mode selector normal and ECA memo takeoff no blue. Taxi checklist complete. Yeah, the comments there on VATSIM, yeah, you could see that people are really fed up. Good, we are ready for departure. So line up, clear takeoff, 3 to right. So what we'll do is do all the items, reset the timer here. Half an hour, not too bad. Then we go line up checklist, take off runway 32 November 1, so full length. The TCAS is TARA and the packs are on, ready. Let's let's adjust the stick here quickly. No, delivery and ground disconnected? Why? Did they get fed up or something? Wow. So that's all on, all done. We are ready for departure. Let's do this. Rolling takeoff. 50%. Engine stable. Takeoff. Manflex 64 SAS runway auto thrust blue. I don't know what happened there, but we'll continue. .100 knots. It is a great scenery here. V1, rotate. Pause the flight. Gear up. You know, remember that bug we had a couple of months ago where it kept on, you know, disconnecting and reconnecting? I hope it's not that. Really? You had the same? Okay, Krishu, thanks for the feedback. Right, let's do autopilot 1 actually. Thrust climb out blue. Auto thrust, autopilot 1. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I've got the Microsoft version. Flap 0, speed is checked. Flap 0, spoilers disarmed. those lights off. That resets. So gears up, flaps are 0. All good. No, so alpha is, of course, you would not be allowed to use flip-flops for a flying, no. So definitely, a uniform has to be, of course, with proper shoes. And yeah, you have to wear them. You have to wear proper footwear. Yeah, it's Itaro. It's called Reynolds Itaro. Yeah, so that's the new Alitalia. Set standard. Standard cross-checked. Passing flight level 58. Checked. So let's continue. Oh, let's continue now. Flight level 350. Same strikes, new name. God. Oh my god. So apparently, it's got all these logos from these luxury something producers, right? Bags, whatever, clothes. Good, we're on our way, so we have a chance of actually making our 8 o'clock slot. 1819, yeah. 1809, so yeah, I'm hurrying. So 50%, so what you do when you, before you put thrust levers into the flex or the toga notch, you check 50% on both sides. The reason we do this is because the engines tend to spool up somewhat at a different pace, up to 50%, right? Depending on engine age, etc., etc. But from 50 to takeoff power, they actually accelerate a lot quicker, so the differences there will be a lot less, and so you don't have asymmetric thrust. If you went all the way from idle power to takeoff power without synchronizing or waiting for the stabilization, you could have, 15-20% difference in thrust, and on a slippery runway, that could leave the aircraft actually in a spin, so that's why we do that. Alright, received messages, load sheet, there was one more load sheet. Alright, 60.4. Yeah, fantastic, all good. We are accelerating for cruise, seatbelts off, we'll go RATNAV, clear, fix info, cleared as well, and then secondary flight plan, copy active, and we're good to go. The routing Emil, yeah, like I said, I've got a little command here that says everything about my work. So the routing is actually quite scenic today as well. So here we are. And we're proceeding to Marseille. And then Marseille, just probably south of Nice. And then we'll hop over Corsica. And then further on, yeah, just west of Rome. And then we do the approach. And we'll talk about the approach in a minute. So, actually I have a real-world video I can show as well from a landing in Napoli. And the only thing I found a bit disappointing is the fact that they changed the approaches. Yeah, Toby, pleasure. So, unfortunately, they don't have that whiskey approach anymore. So they have the Zulu approach, 2-4. And the only thing they would offer then is a short approach via SCOP. So, if you're lucky, you may get the TR1 mic arrival, and we normally ask for that one. Ajaccio. So we normally ask for that one, the TR1 mic, but that leaves us via Agorti and then Bento, and you can see it's a very long final. So in order to save some track miles, there is the option to go via the fix here called SCOP, but that is ATC, so you need clearance for that. But that's what we're going to fly today. And that really saves some time. You don't have to go all the way out. And the weird thing is, if you do the standard arrival, it will actually take you out into the high terrain there, weirdly enough. So that's why the other approach is actually quite nice. Also, what we'll talk about is something that is interesting to actually witness in a flight sim. And what I'm talking about is this. It is something very particular for the approach into Naples. That means you come in on a steeper than normal 3.33 degree glide slope, and you are meeting a runway that has a 0.7% upslope. So you're coming in at a higher than normal descent rate in combination with a strong upward sloping runway, and that has the risk of hard landings. And I'm pretty sure there's a video. Bruno, do you know, someone sent me a link to a video on YouTube on a hard landing. I think it was Bruno who sent me a link. And maybe I can show that here. And it's no joke. That is a risk. Yeah, exactly. The A320 Slammer, exactly. And I can totally relate to that, because here in Naples, that can happen so quickly. Especially if you're flying there with a heavy A321 on a hot day. Man, it's gonna catch you out if you're not careful. Another thing that's also a risk, especially at nighttime, is since you're coming in steeper on a upward sloping runway, you have the optical illusion of being high in the profile. No, that's because of terrain, Danny. Yep. Yeah, because of the high terrain there. Yeah, that's why you have a steeper than normal glide slope. Hey Schneider, how you doing? Would you consider an extra risk due to American Navy base sharing airport? That's a very good question, Bob. A very good question. No, because the thing is this: the Air Force pilots are very professional. So whenever we have kind of a shared airport, military and civil, I've never had a feeling that, you know, it would increase risk because of that. That's a good question, though. Yeah, we'll never learn the pronunciation of Ajaccio. Yeah, so Brennald, another problem you get is the landing distance in Naples is actually not that long. The landing distance available, let me just get the chart out for that. The landing distance available is 2,438 meters. So in A321, it's not critical, but you can't flare forever, right? I'm doing good, Schneider. How are you doing? No permission to blast the tower. Denied. Let me see if I can find that that video again. Yeah, that's why I went offline. I just don't have the time to wait that long. can't find. Guys, if anybody has a link to that video, I'd love to show here in chat or in stream what I'm talking about, because that definitely is a risk. You have the link, Brennard? Hang on, yeah. Can you hang on? Hold on. Don't post it yet. Just need to get the Twitch chat open here. Okay, all right. So if you have the link, I'd love it. Then I would show it. Thank you, Brennard. No, that's not it. No, Brennard. No, that's not it. No, it's a hard landing, but that's not the one I'm talking about. There was one landing from an A321. I think it was Lufthansa. Jump seat recording of a hard landing in Naples on runway 24. Ah, hey, there we go. MCK, thank you. MCK is the man. Hold on. Let me just do that. Do that. Okay, so here it is. Can you see it? And just do that. So, you can see already the optical illusion there. Hey, Nictive. Of being high in the profile. So that's already there.
$50, $40, $30, $20, retard, pitch, retard.
Even get the pitch call out. So
50, 40, 30, 20, retard, pitch, retard.
Right, and to be honest, you know, up to that was Captain flying, by the way, right? And it wasn't me, all right? It was not my landing. In case anybody wonders.
40, 30, 20, retard, pitch.
Wow.
Retard.
Okay. Yeah, I know, right? And there's an eerie silence after you touch down. Nobody speaks in the cockpit. Hey, camper out. How many feet per minute that is? I don't know. I wouldn't know. I would guess about 300, 400. Yeah. Alpha, the captain was just showing how not to do it? Yeah, probably. Yeah, you almost dropped the camera there, right? Get down it, yeah. Are you pushing back, Hitman? GG. Oh, wow. Okay, happy for you. Yeah, so Lovis, that's a very good question. So everything in the aircraft is monitored. So all of the parameters. So anything regarding the flight itself, temperatures, pitch, attitudes, engine parameters, everything is recorded and stored. The same goes for touchdown G. So there's sensors that will measure your G load on touchdown. And if you go above a certain value, I don't know exactly what value that is, but if you go above a certain value, there is an automatic transmission to maintenance and also to op centers. So they would know immediately if you did a hard landing, and they would know that a hard landing check was then required. You can't hide that. Yeah, there's a hard landing report, yeah. Camper out. I still like the FENIX. Yeah, it's still got ways, you know, to go. So still a lot of things to be fixed. But yeah, as far as, you know, flying, I do enjoy it. And here in Microsoft, obviously with the visuals, it's lovely. That was a captain's landing. Yeah, probably. You know, Danny, it's difficult to judge whether or not that was, you know, that would prompt a report, that kind of landing. But definitely not. I would say probably it didn't hit the threshold, but it was probably not far off. That was definitely a pretty hard landing. The passengers will have felt that. Have I ever done such a hard landing? Yes, I have. I've never, now knock on wood, I have never produced a landing myself where a inspection had to be made. I was sitting on a jump seat, however, where that happened. And it was on a 737 jump seat, and that 737 jump seat is very hard. And I saw it coming, so I knew this is going to be a hard landing, but man, I did not expect that to happen. And it was incredibly hard, and I was amazed that the aircraft didn't take damage from that. So maintenance just did a quick checkup. Took about 15 minutes and that's it. But boy, that was hard. Sometimes the auto thrust messes up. In what regard, Brenold? Interesting, because yeah, I know there's certain bugs, but auto thrust. Not really sure what you mean with auto thrust having an issue. Right, so here we got Marseille coming up in about 60 miles. 1,000 feet to go. We'll put this into vertical speed. 1,000 maximum. Yeah, we've seen aircraft receiving damage. Can you imagine where aircraft can be damaged on hard landings? So what's typical? Apart from landing gear, obviously landing gear, yes, you may have some damage, although the landing gear quite often is pretty hard. You're going to bust a tire maybe, but to be fair, there is some other areas where you would see damage, and we've seen pictures on that. Wing joints? I think the wing joints are actually really, really tough. But things you will see, which is quite fascinating, is... and let me just dial down the outside sounds a bit so that I'm not going to blast your ears. Hold on. So there we go, just going to dial down the sim sounds a bit. So, yeah, what you see quite often on hard landings is you will see damage on the fuselage. So you see kind of a wrinkling effect. Right, and you can imagine that, especially on the longer aircraft, when you slam down, you get these forces on the fuselage. You will see crumbling of the fuselage, and you will see that here, kind of, you know. That's one issue. The other issue is as follows. If you imagine all the weight of the wings and all of the fuel in the wings, if you hit the ground very hard, you have a negative G-load on the wings. So the wing tips, they will be forced down. And airliners don't like negative Gs. They're not made for negative Gs. I mean, not made for much more positive Gs, but they can take more positive Gs than negative Gs. And I remember there's an A340, Lufthansa A340 in Asia somewhere. They had a hard landing, and it was grounded for quite a long time because of the wing taking damage. Yeah. You saw the ripples on the fuselage of 747, Flightsim Dad. Yeah, exactly that. Lovis says 757 had a 2.5G landing, causing damage to body around nose gear. Yeah, okay, so another big thing is if you slam nose gear first, that can definitely break the landing gear as well. And there's one. Let me just see if I can find that picture. So let me just. See if I can find it. It's nothing. I don't wanna bash Ryanair or anything. It's just a matter of fact. Just for the picture. So that was on Aviation Herald, and so you can see the bird strike remains there. So what happened is that the aircraft. Let me just make sure I get it right. So the accident has been caused by unexpected loss of both engine thrust as a consequence of massive bird strike during the go-around maneuver. The loss of thrust prevented the crew from performing a successful go-around and has led the aircraft on an unstabilized runway contact. So resulting in that was a hard landing, obviously. And one thing I found fascinating is you can actually see the strut of the main landing gear, the left one, coming through the wing. So you can imagine that was a pretty hard touchdown. Resulting from that accident was a recommendation that if you see a large flock of birds, so large birds, and you should actually continue through that flock of birds in the approach with your low engine RPM. Because that will lead to less damage apparently than having the engine spool up to max thrust and then going through that flock of birds. So that was a recommendation that came out after that. John, no, it's not that bad. Come on. It's not that bad. Although, John, didn't you post a video not too long ago about a hard landing? But that was not Ryanair, was it? Brennelt, maybe you could round out the flare a bit more than usual and land a bit later. So I can show you, Brennelt, I can show you the landing that I did in real life in Naples. Let me just find the video. Hang on, that's not it. And then you can see what I did to land not too long and not too hard. Where is it? There it is. There we go. So enjoy that flight.
1,500.
Have a look at that big factory. It's a car factory. I'm not, is it Fiat or something? Just below now. We'll have a look in the scenery in a minute. One thousand. $400, $300, $200, $100, $50, $40, $30, $20, retard, 5. Yeah. Right. So yeah, we had lots of questions. Brendel, regarding the autopilot disconnect, it's a feature here in the real aircraft as well. So if you press that button once, you will get a message. Here it doesn't show up now. That we have autopilot off, and it doesn't disappear. So the trick is to press that button twice in quick succession, and that way you don't get any master cautions or master warnings. Silent Hunter, that's Naples. That's where we're flying to right now here in the sim, Napoli. And there's a new scenery coming out on the 20th for Microsoft Flight Sim from RDPresets. So I'm actually quite excited about it because in real life I really love that airport. It's a challenge. And it's one of those airports that has, definitely some threats. And if you look at the airport infos, so someone is commenting and saying that 0.7% isn't actually that much. I disagree, because Berlin-Tegel had a bridge on the apron side. Maybe some of you remember that you had to go over sometimes. And that had a very steep incline, and that was only 2%. So 1% or 0.7% doesn't sound like much, but trust me, that is actually quite a steep slope for a runway. Sayed, thank you much, Ali, for the question. I'm doing very well. Yeah, so COVID, I'm pretty much gone. So I have a very light cough still, but nothing major. How did you map the autopilot disconnect button? I can have a look. So yeah, so that's definitely twice. It does not reconnect. All right. Okay, well, I'm not online, so I can quickly control options. Search by input. Hold on. Joystick search. Yeah, it's just autopilot off. Yeah, that's it. Like John just wrote there. Yeah, autopilot off. That's it. Yeah, I had COVID. Yeah. And the first 2 days were horrible, but then it just went away really quickly again. So. Yeah, so somebody's asking whether or not it's able to, I guess the question is if you can switch over quickly IRL between the left and the right seat. There are some training captains that have a right-hand seat qualification. So they can quickly, during their month, change positions. But they tell me that it's actually somewhat weird to have that switching around, because you adapt a certain muscle memory. So just like when you're playing sports, tennis or whatever, golf, you practice and you get better because you get what's called muscle memory on a certain movement. And the same is true for us pilots. We have a muscle memory when it comes to control inputs. It doesn't matter if it's a yoke or a stick. The same goes for the thrust levers. We know exactly how much input we need to do. We don't have to think about it. We will do it subconsciously. So by muscle memory. So when you come into a flare, for example, you flare the aircraft, you just have a good feel already, and the muscle memory will make sure that you're gonna make good landings most of the time. Of course, you can misjudge. Maybe because you're tired or something, your muscle memory may be a bit off, or you were flying an A319 before and now you're flying A321. Again, it could lead to a more harder landing or floaty landing. That can happen. Yeah, the same Silent Hunter. Manchester has the same thing. Really, it has a hump, so you got to be careful on that. If you hit the hump before it's at maximum, you have a hard landing, and if you hit it, if you float past it, it goes back down again. You tend to flare the aircraft. What's actually worse? No, so when you start your simulator training alpha, switching seats, it doesn't take that long. It takes maybe 3 or 4 hours, and then, yeah, it's 2-3 right, exactly. Yeah, John. So you switch seats. It doesn't take you that long to adapt, to be honest. Did she ever tell you FO the landing was bad because you were flying the... No. No, you can't pull that one, no. Yeah, so steering the aircraft in real life, especially on the ground, is a lot easier than in the sim. So the tiller here works really well, and you can really precisely maneuver the aircraft on the ground. The same for the rudder pedals. During takeoff run, or as you slow down, the rudder is either dimmed down as you accelerate, or it becomes more effective as you slow down. It's very nice. It's very, very easy to steer an A320 on the ground. Who's the actual captain if there is 2 captains? Very nice, very good question, Marwan. The answer is as follows. The aircraft holder will determine. So for us as an airline, the airline determines who is pilot in command. So when you get your roster, and should there be the case, and I've actually had that happen, where you have 2 captains, the company determines who is pilot in command. Again, there can only be 1 pilot in command. You can have 2 captains, so you have the same rank, but in front of the or as a kind of a issue with the law, you have only 1 pilot in command. You can hand over pilot in command, however, you would need to inform the company. Right. I know it sounds a bit weird, but that's legal requirements. Luton also has a hump runway. Okay. I am the captain now. That is not that simple. So you need approval from the company. Yeah, most landings done in manual thrust. Yes, for us, yes. I know. I think British Airways has auto thrust on, unless in certain conditions. So the reason why our company doesn't apparently is because of safety concerns, meaning that the auto thrust system may be a bit sluggish sometimes to respond. And to give you an idea, imagine flying in the approach. It's a very heavy aircraft, and then suddenly you have a positive wind gust, so the aircraft gets into overspeed, let's say 50 feet. The auto thrust puts the thrust towards idle power, and then suddenly the wind gust is gone and the speed drops drastically, let's say 15 knots, and that's it. Your power is idle. You cannot do anything. It takes 7 seconds for the engines to spool up from idle power to any thrust levels you would require in that case. Yeah, slam. You would have a hard landing on that. So our company says it's safer to always land with thrust in manual mode. And hey Yoda, how you doing? And so you get used to, you have a lot of practice flying manual thrust, manual flight, manual thrust. So they determined it to be safer. Oh, look at that Corsica. Beautiful. Oh, yes, please. Yeah, Silent Hunter. What about food? Yes. No, that's not a myth, Alliance. So if you are, especially longer flights, pilots are supposed to have different meals. And so I never have fish. I do like fish, but not on board. Board of an aircraft, I always think fish tastes horrible. Yeah. So let's say you have fish and noodles or something, or meat. Then you have different meals for the pilots. You have the lasagna. Ajaccio. Is it? No, isn't it there somewhere? Ajaccio. Oh, hang on, that's Calvi. Here, that's Calvi. That's a quarry. That's where we do our visual circling. Yeah, that's Calvi. And that means Ajaccio is further down. Alpha, yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure the steep approach set. Maybe they have another steeper flap angle. That would be one thing, or they have the option to use speed brakes during the approach. Hey Western 52, how you doing? Welcome. And Burak, hey. Where's Bastia? Oh man, you asking my geography knowledge, which isn't the greatest. Let's have a look. Bastia. Let's see if we have that on the map here. There we go. There's Bastia. Yeah, probably here somewhere, right? Yeah, we're in northern part of Corsica right now. That I did know. That's on Corsica, but I didn't quite know where here on the routing it is. Is it 7% as in 7% feet per... No, I think it's hang on, 7%. And I think it's 7 feet per... So yeah, 0.7 feet per 100 feet. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, if you look at the difference in elevation, so here you've got 223 feet. And 2.5 kilometers further down, it's about 285 feet. Assuming that it's continuous 0.7% up all the way. Oh yeah, Ajaccio has a great approach. Yeah, did you do the visual circling, John? I can definitely recommend. Let me just get the chart out. Hang on. That's that. So the VPTA, that one. The last time I flew there, I did that one. That's a challenge as well. That's lovely. Yeah, that's a cool approach too. I mean, you have the Arnef approach, which is great fun. So this one, the Arnef here, that is great fun. But yeah, another challenge is that visual approach. Very cool. Is that database only for airports you guys fly? What do you mean database? Regarding infos or? Christopher, we'll have a look for the scenery when we land. The thing is, so for me, it's not just the airport itself. For me, there's other items that I look for, and so the terminal buildings, yeah, of course, the more lifelike, you know, they are, the better, yes, of course, but for me, it's the whole deal, meaning the approaches and, you know, having the same effect. And I just did a test landing yesterday at nighttime, and you have that visual effect, that kind of illusion that you are high in the profile, even though I was bang on, too red, too wide. And that's cool. That's what I look for. The same for the ILS 06 approach. The 06 approach is offset. So not only 2-4 is a challenge, I can definitely say that the approach to runway 06 is also a nice challenge. So you can see the inbound radial is 051, while the runway heading is 056. So you have a nice 5-degree offset, and 5 degrees is actually quite a lot. That is actually quite a lot. Yeah, so I get those. Those are infos you may receive somewhere on the internet, but I take notes. So it's either we have those company-wise, or when I fly there, I always take notes on the specialities. So here I noted down the profile. So ILS 06 has a profile of -3.5 degrees. And it should say 5-degree offset. And then we've got a ILS 24, 3.33 degrees, and upsloping runway, high terrain, east and southeast, etc., etc. So your late father was pilot in World War II, and he ended up being based in South Africa, teaching navigation, flying, and in Oxford's nice. And he still have logbooks. Oh, that's great. You're that old? No worries. I'm pushing 53 this year, so. How much offset does Innsbruck have? Let's check. I don't know that off my head, but I can check that really quickly. So Innsbruck 26. So that's 254 on the localizer, and the runway heading is 257. That's only 3 degrees. So there we go. You have a nice relation there. You turned 60 in April, and you always want to fly, but you're colorblind. That's sad. Yeah, I know a couple of people who wanted to become pilot and actually failed the test, the medical, because of colorblindness. Yeah, there's many different variants of colorblindness. Yeah, Danny, exactly that. What happens if the captain applies full left stick and the FO full right? Yes. So the A320 Marwan has that kind of silly behavior where if you're in manual flight and this stick has full left input, this one full right input, the signals are cancelled out. The opposite is also true. So let's say you're doing half stick input to the left here and half stick input to the left here. Those will add, and you have full left stick input. Yeah, dual input, exactly. And you get a warning there as well. Assuming you've had a few squeaky bottom moments, what is the most memorable? I.e. near miss, bad weather, close to the end of the runway. Yeah, so squeaky bottom, definitely sliding down a ramp in Leipzig, sliding sideways. So we had a 30-degree kind of slip on a completely iced up taxiway. Nobody told us that it's completely iced up, but they didn't actually realize. And we kind of lost control sliding down that hill. Luckily, I managed to get the aircraft or have the aircraft stay on the taxiway. But that was more like pure luck. I've had a situation with full reverse thrust in Budapest, full brakes, and we stopped the aircraft about, I would say, 300 feet before the end of the runway. And I thought that would be it. So the report was braking actually medium, and it actually was poor. So that was quite a surprise. Yeah, I did QB, which didn't really help that much. I get a feeling that it made things worse. But I was desperate when it happened, so yeah, I did use differential thrust, but it didn't really help. Yeah, TVAT is also very nice, yeah. Same thing, squeaky bum, Innsbruck approach with wind shear. Actually having a real world wind shear incident where you can actually feel the aircraft drop towards the ground. And I mean drop. And then the aircraft screaming wind shear. That gets your heart rate going as well, I can tell you that. You've practiced that hundreds of times in the simulator. Man, when it comes to real life, it is scary. No joke. Yeah, bird strikes I've had, but luckily the engine always remained running. Yeah, so I've had my moments, but mostly, we talked about it the last time, mostly those incidents are weather related. Rarely are they technically related. So again, the aircraft are really well maintained and really reliable, so you won't run into too many major issues. Excuse me? What happened here? I can manipulate. The animation stopped working for the panel. How weird. Lol. Never seen that before. Terrifying story. Luckily, your first officer. Yeah, the dropped pen. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I know, right? Now, I've had some, lots of funny stories as well, where, typical life stories, where you sometimes sit there thinking that just didn't happen. That really didn't happen. Like, who's going to believe you? What's a reasonable case? Not really. So, Ralph, dual input should be avoided at all costs. So, whenever, let's say my first officer's doing a landing, and I have a feeling at some point I need to take over control, I would say I have control, and I press that button. I keep it pressed until I'm sure that he's got his hand off the stick. Just to make sure that I have priority and there's no dual inputs. There have been some really, really interesting incidents where pilots were doing dual inputs and they didn't even realize. Priority left. Air France 447, yeah. What's that, 777? Oh, now it's working again. Lol. I have no idea what happened there. It's working now. Haha. Brennell, I thought about it. Write a book about the incidents and so on. Oh, the A330. Okay, yeah, the South Atlantic crash. Yeah, okay. No, but there was also an incident with a hard landing, and then I think a tail strike that happened because dual input. Have you ever been intercepted by a fighter? No, luckily not. Luckily not. I think that would be fairly scary and embarrassing because Although I've had a colleague, they were intercepted by Spanish F-18s, but they didn't do anything wrong. They were caught by ATC, and they were asked if it's okay that 2 F-18s approached them for practice. So they said, well, if they keep a certain distance, they don't mind. Yeah, so they didn't come that close, but yeah, they kind of did a practice intercept. Yeah, but otherwise, no. Luckily, never had any fighters come up to me. Swiss Tony says there's an Asia A320 incident involving dual input during a stall. Wow, okay. How do you feel when these bad things happen? Do you feel just go into autopilot mentally? Do things slow down? Actually, one thing you will notice, heli pilot, is a tunnel vision issue. So the good thing is that you train these things in a simulator, and so you kind of understand the moment you get kind of startled initially, but then you are focusing so hard on, let's say, maintaining a certain pitch or a certain speed that you become tunnel vision. So you get kind of task saturated. And one of the bad things is that your hearing goes. The first thing that goes when you go into kind of task saturation is your hearing. So the pilot monitoring has to be aware of that. So when we had that wind shear incident, the FO was pilot flying, and he did a really good job hand flying that procedure. So wind shear toga, following the commands, about 15 degrees pitch up, and he nailed that. But I could feel that he was task saturated, that he was actually, his hearing was gone, because any call outs I made, he never responded. And so I had to really speak out really loud and ask, like, did you get that? Do you hear me? And then he started to react again. So yeah, it's a very tense moment. You just have to be aware of these physiological kind of reactions on that. The pen into the electric bay, yeah. But that was a classic. That was yeah. That would definitely make its way into the books. Or that big Doberman dog that made a big poof pile in his box while they were loading that case into the cargo hold, and then the loaders threw up. It was such a stench that the loaders threw up, and they refused to tie down the box, but it has to be tied down in order to be transported. And so they were standing outside, and ramp agent came up to me and they said, "Captain, we have a problem." And I said, "What is it?" They said, "The big dog that you have?" And I said, "Yeah, what about it?" "Yeah, well, it made a big pile of poo in the box, and it's such a stench that people throwing up, and they refuse now to tie it down." And I'm like, "You've got to be kidding me." So my head was like, okay, how do you solve that problem? Right? So I said, I went outside, had a look at it, and it wasn't a dog, it was a horse. I never seen a dog that big before. It was a horse. Huge dog. Very old dog as well, and scared out of his life. So I asked them, hey, I said, look, is it possible to just take out that box, put it in a high loader, and just take it out first of all, and then we try to solve the issue? And so they agreed, luckily. So they went inside again, held their breath, took the box out, and just put it in a high loader into fresh air. And exactly that. So I knew there were incidents where you had cargo in the aft cargo compartment, and it was some fruit, for example. And actually people during the flight started to notice the smell. So you can actually have, it's not airtight, so you can actually have smell leaking into the cabin. And I thought, if we fly, it was a 3-hour flight, so if we fly back with that dog and that contaminated box, people will start to smell that at some point. And imagine the news, imagine the headline, right? Aircraft doing an emergency landing because 50% of the passengers threw up because of very bad dog poo stench during flight. Imagine that. That's the headline I saw in front of my eyes, as that if I fly now with that issue, that's what's going to happen. I saw that. I'm sure it would have happened. I'm so sure. So yeah, so we had to make out, find out who the owner was, and it was a fairly young lady. And so I told her two options: A, your dog stays here, or B, you'll be able to clean that box within the next 15 minutes before we depart. And then we have a chance of getting that dog inside. And so she agreed. And so I got her a yellow vest. We got water, we got towels, we got disinfectant fluid, soap. And yeah, I took her down to the box, and yeah, she miraculously cleaned it. And I honestly, I stood there like, I just make sure the dog doesn't escape, right? But I could smell that stench. And Haley, and I also remember we got it cleaned up, or she got it cleaned up, and the loaders agreed to put the dog back into the cargo hold. All was good. And I was sitting in cruise flight, and I could smell dog poo. I'm not joking. I had that smell in my nose, and so I was worried that I actually had some dog poo on my uniform somewhere, maybe shoes or something. And I thought, so I asked my first officer, hey, do you smell any dog poo or something? And he said no. And I'm like, thank God for that, because I can still smell it. It was bad. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. It was that bad. Yeah, QB, it really was. I'm not joking. There was like 5 loaders standing around us in about 5 meters, 10 meters distance, arms crossed, and they were watching us clean that box. You know, grinning, making jokes. Yeah. They exactly that. I remember that very, very vividly. So, yeah. Heli pilot. I saw an accident on the airfield while hovering, while training. I was going in, but definitely fixed. Oh yeah, yeah, heli pilot. That's the thing, right? So the only thing really you can do against that, to mitigate that kind of threat, is to practice and make sure that you understand your own bodily reactions to it, to be able to pull yourself out. So that startle effect is something we pilots have to train. And to be able to get out of. It's a very human kind of reaction, but you can train yourself to cope better with that. Well, I helped in a sense, Brendel. I held all the water and the tissues and the blankets and so on, and I held up the waste bag. So she had to put all that those dirty towels, etc., into a waste bag, and I held up the waste, opened the waste bag, but that was enough. That was enough to get that stench into my nose, and it just stayed there for the whole flight. Do you know if your airline ever have been intercepted? Yeah, sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. That has happened for sure. Yeah, heli pilot. So these things are shocking for indeed. Yeah, indeed. Right, let's go get some weather while we're here, and then we'll prepare for the approach. So AFC menu, weather. But again, it's these kind of things that will happen from time to time, where afterwards you have a good laugh about it. But while it's happening, it's like, oh yeah, and of course we had a slot time. right? We had a slot time being in Spain, which we would have to meet, otherwise we'd have more delays. So yeah, it was pretty stressful. No, hang on. There we go. So weather for westerly winds as expected. So we'll do the approach 24 and 31 degrees. Still very hot, but that's also meaning again. Higher true airspeeds and more descent rate, thinner air maybe, so less dense air, affecting the flare behavior. No, I don't think so, Danny. How do you take off when you need to maintain runway heading? With heading select? Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. Right, so ground charts, airport info, arrival. So we're going to take the TR1 mic. There it is. And the ILS Zulu 24. So initially what we'll do, we're going to fly the TR1 mic and then we'll pretend, just like in real life, at some point here on our way to Agoti, we'll get direct to the fixed ESCOP. So what I can do now is actually go and clear out Agoti, clear out Bento, and then just do that. Leave that open and then ESCOP for the approach. Also, you want to put in the runway threshold info. Since you're not going to stay on the arrival route, you want to make sure that you understand how much distance you have. Good night, Lilo. Take care. Have you had a complete radio failure? No, only on one set, Brenold. So I only killed on the 737 my radio set with orange juice once. But luckily the second set worked still. So I never had complete communication failure. And that would be really rare, to be honest. The reason why you have radio failures, in a sense, is that because you dial in the wrong frequency, or I've already demonstrated that at some point as well. Thrust idle descent, blue 180. A very nasty thing that can happen is the following. So you come back from, let's say you make an announcement to the cabin or to the passengers, right? So what I normally do is I go here, turn that down, turn that down, turn that up, passenger address, and I'll take the handset here, make an announcement to the passengers, and then I would come back, and if you forget to reset your radio, and then the first officer goes, oh, okay, glad you're back, no changes, I need to go to the toilet. So he goes out, and then there's a very attractive flight attendant, and so he has a nice chat with her, right? So it takes a bit longer for him to come back. In the meantime, I'm not actually on the radio set, right? So, yeah, they're trying to reach me, they can't reach me. So we fly and fly, and we get out of range from the radio controller, and then at some point, the first officer comes back, and it's silence, right? So out of range from the other frequency, and here I don't hear anything anyways. And at some point, I will realize it's very quiet, and oh darn, you know, I forgot to switch on my VHF 1, and then I go radio check, no reply. Right, and this is where, who knows, maybe you've been off the air for 20 minutes, you cross the border, and that's where maybe you already have fighters in the air before you know it. So, yeah, that's what can happen very quickly. Same thing if you hear listen to the ATIS let's say I'm listening to the ATIS on the second set, like this. And the same thing, I forget to switch back, and the first officer goes out. Right? Bam. You've got your communication issue. It can happen quickly. Luke, I would imagine so, yes. So I would imagine you would do that. Yeah. I mean, it's costly, isn't it? So, good. Let me just go prepare for the approach. We were looking for a minimum coming to the border. Right, let's go with 540. And for the RATNAV setup, let me put... So the Zulu has a missed approach. Well, there's nothing nothing on the missed approach that I need. I mean, 50,000 per hour. Imagine you have to pay that. So November Papa Charlie, maybe. There's a backup here. Oh, hang on, that's the ILS, isn't it? Napoli. November Alpha Papa. So, if you are past Tiano and you ask the controller if you can expect the short approach, if he then says, yeah, expect short approach, yeah, you need to make sure that you descend. Because you can see that it takes off a lot of track miles there. Hey, Super Grumpy, how you doing? Yeah, so Danny, when you manipulate the flight plan, sometimes you have to get the aircraft into heading mode in order to insert a flight plan change. Yeah, that happens sometimes, yeah, in certain circumstances. Right, what procedure for full radio failures? So 7600 obviously is for the transponder. To be honest, Brenold, if you are already further down, you would try maybe with a mobile phone, trying to get a connection. And then what you would do, you would either ask yourself, do we have visual rules or IMC? So if you have if you're in VMC, you could land at near suitable aerodrome and look out for these light signals, green signals, red signals for landing clearance, etc., etc. Or if you go according to your flight plan and IMC, you just continue to your initial approach fix, and I think you go there and fly for 7 minutes. I'm trying to think. And then you try to land as closely as possible to your estimated time in the flight plan. But you need to give the air traffic control time to adjust for your radio communication failures, so that they can get all the other traffic out of the way. Danny, you have radio ATC telephone numbers you can get. Yeah, we do have obviously our op center telephone numbers, and they can relay as well to ATC, or they can give us a proper phone number. Yes, Brenold, yeah. So there we go. Right, lovely. There's the, where's our volcano? There it is. A Vesuve. It's a beautiful approach. I always love this. It's been a while since I was last on the big birds. They still swap over crew during long haul. Depends on the flight distance. So we still have long range some flights where we have only 2 pilots. Right, I'm gonna go now descend level 100, and then there's the routings which are a bit longer, and then of course we have 1 relief co-pilot. Do you always get a CTOT? No, Green Dot Foxtrot. So there's flights that don't have a slot, and then there's flights that get regulated. So not all flights are regulated. Right, so Teano 10,000. So we got to go level 100 until we get closer to 27 DMEs or closer to here. Although white area is pretty safe already, so that's 10.5. That's the reason why you have to go 10,000 here on this routing, but that's because of the terrain to the north, really. It says 10,000 or transition level, whichever is higher. Yes, terrain ahead, I do. 8,000 transition level will be around 100, so either 90 or 100. Today I'm going to put in 90. Cool. Right. So, tower says, or the approach controller says, yes, expect short approach. So what we do now is we check how many miles do we have. We've got to be 6,000 there. That is about 25 miles, so about 7,000 feet. So should be alright. We're pushing it a little bit. So now it says direct to ESCOP. So we do that. 41 miles, 12,000 feet we should be at. So we know already we're a bit high. Speed brakes come out. We open descend. Seatbelts on. Not yet. So Super Gromby, I'll be flying to Portugal on Tuesday. So I guess I'll see the fires when I fly there. But I've seen over the last couple of years many wildfires around Europe. One of the most vivid ones was in Split, where you know the mountain or the hill or the mountain next to the airport. The northern side was on fire, and the smoke from that mountain actually went towards the airport. All right, so descent 6,000. QNH is, check the weather again. 1017. So set QNH 1017. Set cross-checked. Yeah, so what I did in the video as well, I took the autopilot out and then went full speed brakes because we were just high in the profile. And so that's a trick you can do, because with autopilot on an A320, the speed brakes only come at half maximum with the autopilot on. That has to do with certification and the way the autopilot reacts when you retract the flaps at high altitude. Yeah, so if you have a long-range aircraft, you actually do have what we call a rest area. So with bunk beds. Cool. So for the approach, we're going to be flying ESCOP 6,000 towards Uruc. We'll ascend 4,000 feet, and then we go onto the ILS. Final is out of 5.6 miles from Napoli, 2,200 feet. Descent profile 3.33 degrees. We talked about the risk there regarding the steep profile and the upslope of the runway, hard landing risk. Alright, so I think we're good on that. 6,000 feet. Speed brakes will come in a second. Landing distance wise, it's a dry runway today. Currently we're weighing 64 tons, so pretty heavy. So 64.5 is max landing weight, so it's just below. So 60, let's do 64.2. So there we go. With auto brake low, we already above max landing distance available with the factor, so we gotta go auto brake medium to stay within that. So 6,000, speed brakes in, and I am going to slow down already. And so I'm going to maintain 6,000 until we pass the next waypoint. And the clearance will be via SCOP cleared the ILS Zulu 24. So I can pre-dial 4,000 initially. Approach phase is active. Yeah, look at that scenery. I love it. It's always an absolute treat. Really, really nice. Gorgeous. Good. LS keys on. We'll do the approach checklist. Barrow ref QNH 1017. Then we've got seatbelts on, minimum Barrow MDA 540 feet, auto brake medium, and the engine mode selector normal. Approach checklist completed. It does slow down very fast, so the real aircraft, the same thing. Flaps 1, speed is checked, flaps 1. So normally the approach takes us all the way out here onto the final, so this is a nice shortcut, saves fuel time. So definitely something you want to do. And the important thing is, again, energy management. You need to make sure that you get the aircraft on the right profile. Don't get too high in the approach, especially if you've got a little bit of tailwind maybe. So I'm going to go flaps 2 in a minute. Here we go, flaps 2, speed is checked. Just to add a little bit more drag, trying to get the aircraft down on its profile. It is a challenge. And you can see why you have those restrictions, because that's terrain below you. So now,
a gift from me
oh my
to
god,
you.
Brennald!
Enjoy
Oh
the
my
gifted
god,
sub.
Brennald! Oh my god! Right, cleared for the approach. While we're just having a look at Brennald here at this beautiful, beautiful scenery. Brennald, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Oh my god! Everyone that's just been gifted a sub by Brennald, please, please, please say a big thank you. Oh, that's wrong. That's a wrong chat. Hang on. There we go. Thank you so much, Brennald. Goofy, hi, how you doing? Atomico, buenas noches. Right, our approach is armed. We've got Glasgow Blue, Lock Blue. And here we go, on to the final. It's a bit steeper than normal. Here's the runway.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box.
Brennald, once again, dankeschön. Vielen Dank.
Could new subscribers please make your way
so flaps 2 is comfortable, so we can do that. And have a look here. That's the...
Thank you.
Is that the Fiat, or was that behind us already? I think that's behind us already, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. Here's the Fiat factory you saw in the video as well. Crazy. Look at that. Huge, huge factory. And Tom, thank you as well to you for your 19 months here on Twitch. Tom, thank you so much. Round of applause, Tom, for you as well. Tom, thank you so much. Explain? No, it's so goofy. It should say both. So we have.
2,500.
It should. Hang on. It should say X Microsoft. Yeah, it should say Microsoft. Interesting. Good. Gear down. Get all the lights on. Come on. There we go. And that armed. Flaps 3. Speed is checked. Flaps 3. Oh, look at that view. Flaps 4. Speed checked. Flaps 4. Another factory below there. And the Vesuv. Fantastic. I love the scenery. I really do. Landing checklist. We got minimal landing, no blue. Landing checklist completed. RDPresets as well.
Channel subscriber experience. Could new subscribers please make your way to the first class?
RDPresets, thank you so much here on Twitch. 58 months. Oh my god.
Flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
Manual flight. Actually, sorry. This normally we go auto thrust off first before we do autopilot off. There we go. So. Auto thrust off, autopilot off, manual flight, and missed approach 5000 is set. So have a look out for the illusion that we talked about.
Welcome aboard.
So especially the experienced pilots, they have a certain picture in their head regarding runway, how it should look on the right path. And here already I can feel it looks high. It looks like we're high in the profile. But that's because of the upslope of the runway combined with the 3.33 degree down glide slope we have. 1000 check was stable. Everything completed. And also Go Sammy. Thank you so much, Go Sammy, for the 53. Sammy, I hope you're doing good. Wow. This is crazy. Right, let's concentrate. Let's see if we can not slam this one. If I slam it, it's all for demonstration purposes, alright? Just saying. Oh.
500.
There we go. So here, interestingly enough,
100 above.
the glide slope actually does coincide quite nicely with the
300.
with the poppies.
Minimum.
Continue. Right, 800 feet rate descent. That's normal to stay on the path.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard.
Come on. Oh, bit floaty. There we go. Not too bad. Spoilers, reverse, green, diesel. Nice flip-flops, thanks. Yeah, it's warm in my room. And next high speed is exactly where I want to go out. Manual brakes. And that's exactly the exit we took on the rework flight as well. Yeah, so typical, you are mentally aware that you're flying steeper than normal into an upslope, and so you tend to have the issue that you then pull back on the stick a bit too much, and it ends into a float. Here, when you come to Naples, normally you would have to go left. Right, so it's taxi around clockwise. However, ATC often is very nice, and if you parked up here, they will give you counterclockwise taxiing, non-standard. But normally you would have to go the other way. After landing checklists, radar, predictor windshield system, up. No, so in the real cockpit you can't wear flip-flops, no. Lucat, yeah, right. I mean, no, I'm not supposed to do that. I'll show you the scenery, and then I've got to go and meet my DCS community for a nice mission. Right, and I think we parked right at the end here, didn't we? Yeah, next to that parking spot there. Right, so again, this scenery comes out on July the 20th. Thank you so much for gifting me this scenery. RDPresets is the developer, and I am really happy that we finally have this airport add-on in Microsoft Flight Sim. This is one of my favorite IRL, so I absolutely love it. And no, it's not a mistake, it does not have any jetways. Yeah, exactly, finally a Napoli scenery. Brennald, because I want to concentrate on flying. So when I'm streaming, I can't concentrate on flying. So there's so much stuff to go and look at. And also the DCS streams, there's not that many viewers. Because there's not that many people that find it interesting. Splashing. No, I don't mind that. Alrighty. So, parking checklists. Parking brake or chocks. Parking brake set. Engines off. Wing lights off. And fuel pumps. I forget that all the time. Fuel pumps off. Parking checklist completed. Thank you so much for the level 3 hype train, guys. You are amazing. Thank you so much for the support, as always. DCS Digital Combat Simulator. So it's a fighter aircraft, fighter helicopter platform. Yeah, so we'll have a quick look at the airport add-on. I already checked that out. So obviously, daytime, you'll find absolutely no big complaints. The only thing really I would say that I would have, thought maybe then it would be 10 out of 10 is if the first layer of the terminal building was actually modeled. However, they said that people don't really mind. There's not many people that really like to see that, and also it does maybe have an issue with performance then. So yeah. However, again, you can see the pictures here. Make up your own mind regarding reflections, how the airport looks. I think it does look nice. You always find something to complain about, but for me, again, it's just a nice add-on again, and this approach into, or both approaches, both runways, and even the departure here. This is Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, and the DCS is a digital combat simulator we talked about. But there we go. So the departure, you can see, requires you to do a very, very quick left turn. So I think it's about half a mile from the ILS. You already go a little bit left in this direction to about, I think it's 2 miles from the ILS, and then you go towards the south. And if you come the other way, I'll just increase the speed here. If you come the other way, you'll see exactly what I mean regarding that offset. So you would normally come in from here, so round about here, to avoid the bigger hills on this side. Yeah, the highway sometimes, if it's a steep slope, yeah, they all model a bit weird, but there we go. Yeah, but this approach, 06, also very scenic. I love it. Man, in real life, of course, it's even better. But Microsoft does a very good job here. Football stadium. Yeah, I think you get the idea, right? It looks nice. It looks really, really nice. Oh, hey,
Autopilot.
Aviator.
Autopilot.
Aviator, great, and that's very, very kind of you. Not only a sub, but also a $20, $19.99 donation. Great, and thank you so much for your kindness. That's really, really great. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. Right, so there we go. You can see how beautiful it is. It's just absolutely amazing to fly here. And then you've got the volcano there. And I'll show you the night lighting. So here's the only downside. I think, again, you know, it would have been a bit nicer to have a kind of transparent glass, the first layer of the airport interior. But apart from that, yeah, really nice. You get the idea. It is brilliant. Yeah, Naples, yeah. So let me just go night lighting. So the yellow lights is correct, if I remember correctly. So that's correct. Yeah, the lighting of the apron is fine. No complaints there. It's just the terminal building. Yeah, if they had done that the first layer modeling, that would have been like 10 out of 10 then. But that's the only really downside I found for the scenery. The airport lighting itself, again, very nice. How does the FENIX A320 compare to FS Labs? The FS Labs is a finished product, while the FENIX isn't, so it's difficult to compare. If you look for the absolute kind of FS Labs fidelity and accuracy, then you're going to have to stick with the FS Labs for a while. The FENIX just isn't quite there yet. But here from Microsoft Flight Sim, I'm really enjoying it. So, but again, I understand people finding stuff that they can criticize and rightfully criticize. I understand that. It's just I don't get so much hung up about those things because I do see it from a flight sim kind of point of view, not so much as it being, you know, a real aircraft. Yeah, again, beautifully modeled. And you can imagine even nighttime landings here, right? I've done so many, I don't know, 10 landings at night here at least in real life. Again, it's just gorgeous. Absolutely brilliant. Good. So, thank you so much for watching. Big shout out to Aviator, Graydon. So Graydon, thank you so much for your support, coming in with almost a $20 donation here. Thank you for Brennell for gifting 10 subs. Or even more. I'm not sure if he also gifted some during the stream. But the big Tanner, thank you so much for that, Brennell. Big thank you to everyone that continues to support either on YouTube or on Twitch. That really means a lot to me. And I will be back. Now, I've got to be doing some real-world flying, but I'll be back next Sunday again with the next stream. And I'm sure I've got some funny stories to tell by that time. Hopefully actually being able to maybe have less delay. I don't know. I don't know what to expect when I'm going back to work. But yeah, the chaos. Summer holidays, it can be a bit of a nightmare. If you are going on holiday, I wish you a lovely time. Make sure to take some extra time when you go and fly. Definitely need it. And I'll see you again very soon. How can we add crew sounds to the FENIX? The only way you can do that really is through FS2 Crew. I'm sure that there probably is some other add-ons, but I'm not aware of that, and I've not installed any others. So FS2 Crew would be one way of it's still light, I know, but I've started at 4 in the afternoon, so we already did 2 flights today. You can watch the video on demand either here on Twitch or on YouTube. Good. Napoli. I know pizza. The pizza here in Napoli is brilliant. Oh, love it. Okay. Alrighty. See you again soon, everyone. Thank you so much for the support. Stay well and enjoy your flight sim, whatever you're flying. Stay positive. Enjoy it. That's the important message. Big thank you again to Toga Simulations for gifting me the Mitsubishi MU2 to try out today, and also a big thank you to RDPresets who made the add-on, and this add-on will come out on the 20th of July. So 3 days from now, it will be available in the stores. Right. Okay, guys. Good night, everyone. Have a great week. See you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks to my moderators, as always. See you soon.